Ronnie Corbett sound alike, and we're going to try some spoof calls out to various people. So if there's anybody you don't like, who you know, I say don't make it a real-life enemy, but I'm interested in the victims being nominations from contributors, so that we kind of know them a little bit.
I know who I would love to do it.
Well, we'll do it. No, I've got a few as well, people I'd like to, embarrass.
Yeah.
Or at least see how they deal under pressure with Ronnie Corbett asking them for a blowjob.
Yeah.
And that kind of...
That'd be quite funny.
Not her,
childlike,
not her.
sort of post-carry-on humour.
Not her either.
So yeah, okay, let's take a listen then to Happy Trees. What is it, Stuart?
Happy Trees, just a submission called Let It Flow. I think it's about the show, actually. So
okay.
Here we go.
Could I?
Here we go. Honestly.
When I put on Duncan Tommy on the webcast radio, I can hear them singing Let It Grow. And if the zoo can sometimes leave you wondering where it's going to go, have a little patience, let it grow. Let it grow, let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. I think that's the answer, let it grow. There's a time for good discussion, there's a time for craziness. Let it all wash over, let it flow. Skype and chat and random calling, hands are in the studio. I'll make the adventure, let it grow. Let it grow, let it flow, just relax, let it go. I think that's the answer, let it grow.
Oh, that's beguilingly...
Oh, sorry. For some reason it's on repeat, so...
Is
there
it?
we go, yeah. People keep messing with this computer when we're not here, Tommy, and it screws me up every Sunday.
I'm not bothered, you don't have to make excuses.
I've got two people I think we could perhaps call.
And that what? To screw?
With the Ronnie Corbett thing.
Okay. Who
I'm
are
just wondering...
Don't say their names, but what
No.
kind of people? Are they relatives or friends, gentle enemies, drinking partners, exes?
Okay, well, one's friend of the family, but friend personally as well. She's a lovely woman, but she is way with the fairies in many senses, although very intelligent at the same time. And then there's another woman who I know through working with her through a certain competition, and she's just absolutely mental and nutty. And I think, providing one of them's not with her kids at the time,
Okay.
I think you might get...
Maybe next week.
You might get a conversation out
Give
of
it some thought. We're looking for a stool pigeon for next week. With the Ronnie Corbett thing. And another little thing that
Are you not doing it this week?
we could do, I don't know, but we've got... I think Stuart might need a moment's notice to get the whole thing up.
Yes,
and I'll need to play with it as well, because I'll be the one who'll be firing off the comments from Ronnie Corbett.
Got you.
The other strand I've always wanted to do, I tried it a couple of times at the BBC, but I couldn't make it work. And I think it's a really strong idea. If you know somebody, right, who doesn't listen to the radio station or whatever, play radio, but they're a bit of a fanatic about something. I tried it with a guy who was into fishing. What happens is you nominate somebody you know, and you tell me what their fanaticism is. So then, what we arranged to do is for me to go on the radio as if I'm an expert, talking shite about the things that they think they know a lot about, okay? All right, now I get to play the expert, you see. So we found out this bloke was into angling, and that he was particularly keen on angling for bream, all right? So what we'd do is then we'd start this spoof interview with, say, yourself, Matt, or Stuart, interviewing me, and I'm an expert on bream fishing. And I am saying that the thing that most attracts bream to the hook is sausages, right? Or some such shit. The person who's nominated the angler, has to phone the angler up and say, Dave, listen to XYZ radio, mate. They're talking about that thing that you know a lot about, which is bream fishing, and the bloke's saying the opposite of what you always say, and he's an expert. And so actually it was quite good that it was fishing, because what I was doing was fishing for this bloke. I really wanted just this bloke. So in other words, you're doing an entire bit of radio just for one person who isn't even a listener.
Yeah.
And we tried it a couple of times, and it just didn't quite click, because, you know, it needs a bit of work and everything. You all right there?
Yeah, just
You had a little sneeze there, didn't you?
Might be
Yeah. Are you allergic to bad ideas? Is that what it is? Something like that.
PlayRadioUK.com. Just great music.
Get £100 off the cost of your holiday right now. 14Travel are offering you an unbelievable £100 discount on all holidays to Turkey. Stay at one of a great range of fantastic hotels to suit all budgets. All you need to do to get your £100 discount on top of the everyday exceptional prices is call now on 0871 664 1405 or go to www.14travel.co.uk.
Play Rock UK is now on the air, playing the widest range of rock and metal for rock fans everywhere. Listen now by going to playrockuk.com. This is Play Radio UK. Sensibly satirical. This is the Tommy Boyd Show on Play Radio UK. Not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, and this evening we're talking about Alan's sports reports, which have got better and better, and I think he's just about cracked it.
I think it's just about there.
Put in a lot of colour and language and opinion, and it's the best sports report in broadcasting. So, we've also got him up against Joe, who is our all-time loser, an American, and if that's not bad enough, he moved to Poland. Now, the one thing that Americans have got is they live in a beautiful country, so they're only 50% losers, all Americans. But Joe, by moving to Poland, which has to be the worst country to move to, I think.
Well, all their natives are leaving.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So how big a loser is that? Then we managed to get pictures of him up on the show, and it turns out that he's bald and has tits.
So working on a percentage ratio, what are we saying, 85% loser now? Or?
He's very close to being a seriously, successful...
heavyweight contender.
Louis heavyweight, wasn't he?
Yeah, oh yes, definitely.
Absolute loser. We decided not to get Stuart started on Heather Mills because he has strong views there.
Don't even.
Money-grabbing whore.
And we've been talking a bit about nuns as well. I don't know how it came into the conversation. Oh, the other thing we've been talking about is the many ways in which the one illegal word in England, anyway, in the English language, is cunt. And we thought it would be the right thing to do, to talk about it, because we can here. You couldn't anywhere else. And I can't see any point in having a conversation about it and doing that pussyfooting thing of going the C word, or C asterisk asterisk T.
But it's like you might as well have said the word.
Exactly.
Because the picture is, and
we
people
know
are
the
thinking
word.
it, so...
So, been talking about how, amongst some men, it is some sort of a compliment to be called a bit of a cunt. Whereas wanker is in no way that you could... Unless you really are doing it with the absolute irony that means, mate, you are the opposite of a wanker, by going, you wanker. Okay? So we've been doing that. And back to nuns, though, because... Was it Stuart, you were saying that you've seen some pretty nuns?
Yeah, I used to know a girl who was a nun, or who went on to be a nun, who was incredibly stunning, actually, and she was considered...
Why was she a nun? Why did she decide to be a nun?
I don't know. She went to convent school because she was a daughter of a very posh, very rich guy, and I don't know. She ended up being a nun.
Probably highly emotionally unstable.
Very, very nice.
We've also got the Human Zoo up and running, which means if you want to call between 8 and 10, the show now lasts 3 hours. It begins at 7 o'clock UK time on Sundays, every Sunday. Duncan's not here this evening. He's going to be making occasional appearances over the coming weeks and months. Stuart and Matt are regulars, and they're here this evening. The phone lines are open. Yeah, go ahead. Matt's just stepped out for something, which is cool. The Human Zoo line is 01243 55 60 60.